1, 2, 3, action. Okay, what is up guys? Farhan here with Iza once again, and today we have Dominic.
Hey.
How are you, Dominic?
Hello.
Oh my gosh, and
Thanks.
when Dominic first contacted me on Instagram, I was like surprised that he has this bike for us, the CBR400RR. So from my understanding, this bike has been in production since 1988 to 1994.
Yes.
And wow, I cannot believe there's still this bike in Singapore.
Sialah, that's why during my time, during my younger years, this is like wow, one of the most beautiful bike I've seen before. Because I had a friend in NS who actually rode this bike, and I was like, wow. I was like, sialah, cantik sia motor ni.
And then what's your reaction to find out that it still exists?
Yeah, well,
especially in Singapore.
In Singapore, considering that this type of bikes will be soon scrapped, and then most of the COEs that is running maybe
usually people 10 years then scrap, but very rare to find riders who will renew the COE lah.
Yes, and then some more with the current NEA laws,
yes,
this bike will be culled away.
Sadly, very sadly.
So luckily we have Dominic here. We can preserve part of this memory on video.
I'm sure all you veteran riders who are who rode this bike before are like, wow, this reminds me of my rompet days. Okay, so before Dominic actually tells us the story about his CBR400RR, we're gonna give a bit of background about it.
Primarily introduced for the Japanese market in 1983 till 1994, the Honda CBR400 is the first model to wear the CBR name. The acronym CBR is widely believed to mean Cross-Beam Racer. Officially, the designation CB is used for Honda bike with an inline-4 engine. The CBR400 has many variations to its lineup. Dominic's model is a CBR400RR Fireblade, frame number NC29. Engine is a 399cc liquid-cooled inline-4 DOHC 4-valve with a carburetor fuel system and a 6-speed manual transmission. As with any vintage bike, it is an extremely rare sight on Singapore streets.
Okay, so Dominic, oh my gosh, I have a lot of questions. When you ride this on the street, what kind of reactions you get?
I get a lot of reactions because like every time I pass by or I stop at the traffic light or I just in the car park idling the bike or like when I move off on the road, the bike produces a very loud sound because of the Yoshimura pipe.
Yes.
And also the looks the color is quite striking.
Yes,
then I always get people looking, then thumbs up on the road whenever I pass by.
And speaking of looks, this is really a remnant of the 80s. It's really in the design, even the livery also. It's so 80s,
Yeah.
And don't mind me asking, what's the model year for this one?
For this one, right, it's the L model, which is in the 1990 or 1991, if I'm not wrong.
90s era. So it's not that old per se.
But still, it is considered a legend of its own.
That time, when you bought it, how much you bought it for?
Oh, I bought this bike 2 years ago from the previous owner for about 6,700.
How many years of COE left?
Then it was left 4, now it's about left 3. Because this bike is ending in February 2023.
I see.
So any further plans for this bike? Whether you want to renew?
I will be renewing this bike. My plans is to renew the bike because this bike actually, yes, like you mentioned, is actually very hard to come by. But at the same time, I see this bike a lot of times also.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this bike is I see this bike more often than I see RVF, which is the counterpart of this bike.
But that time RVF in my secondary school days, it was very common. But surprisingly, you saw this bike. It's still in Singapore.
But I would say that so far of all the ones that I've seen, right, they're all also ending 23, 24, 25 around there. And then some of them, the fairing, they have their own fairing, which is like not the original fairing. They have a blue with yellow, black with orange, all this. But then like I want the original color design.
I see.
So this is the original livery
For this model, no. Yeah, the original livery for this L model, right, is black with turquoise.
So it's a slightly modern take of the modern livery
Considering that this is already an old bike,
yes.
Is there any problems in finding spare parts or mechanic who is very familiar with this model?
I see. Okay, I understand your question. Okay, yes, being this an old bike, right, most of the riders that I've met outside riding CBR or RVF or all the bikes from this kind of category era, right, they always do their servicing at K&T. Because from what I heard, right, it's the place where you go for all those old school bikes getting done. Because the workmanship is good. Then from what I know, right, this bike from the previous owner, he always gets the bike done there. Yeah. So likewise, in terms for for servicing, it'll be at KNT. But in terms of parts, right, KNT, I think they do sourcing, but on my own, I went to go and find parts. It takes some time, like just to get the original seat, a brand new one, original footrest. Took some time.
You can really see it's worn out lah, even though, how to say, because given his age, you know, original parts can be seen as worn down.
But actually, original parts, actually, I don't really, from what I know, this one is not really sure whether it's original, but I know the seat is definitely original, but for the parts that I replaced, like maybe the footrest, because the time the previous owner, I mean my friend before the previous owner, he bumped with the bike before, so we went to find the thing. But I don't know whether it's actually meant for CBR, but it fits and it looks about the same, but it's not Honda one. But it's like the China AliExpress kind of thing. But they say it works, it fits.
As long as it fits, okay lah.
It's okay. It looks original.
I mean, it's just a footrest.
Yes.
It's not like the whole cover set being replaced.
Oh my god, cover set, I think it will be a disaster.
Well, actually, that's where you're wrong. For cover set, right, because now these bikes are, I would say that more or less very hard to come by. In terms for original fairing, right, you can get them from like overseas, Japan, all these, right, but it will cost a bomb.
Wow.
But these bikes, right, in that generation, right, they've earned the title of being popular. So it's actually mass produced in China, and you can actually custom order from China.
Okay.
Wow.
So like this fairing here, right, it's brand new fairing, but then it's manufactured in China, but it's not that good quality.
It's reproduction.
Yeah, reproduction, and as you can see, the time I sit, the thing crack here already.
You can see.
Sorry to say,
The tank actually, the tank, that's the problem. Most people that I saw having CBR, right, they always buy new fairing but respray the tank. So if they choose not to respray the tank, they just put the tank over the thing. Because by right, this bike right now, right, it will look like the 900 CBR Fireblade. The 900 one. But without this tank condom, right, it's smaller a bit. So you'll see later when my friend comes over with the Hurricane, right, the original shape is the tank.
Smaller.
Yeah, it's actually way smaller.
So far, throughout your ownership, has this bike given you any problems?
So far, no, because when I took over the bike, right, it was full service before I took over. And under my care, right, I've only changed the footrest, fairing, and the signal lights, front and rear, and the grip. Other than that, right, so far the bike has never given me any problem, and I would say it's well taken care of, because since it was last service to me, right, and I don't really ride every single day. I only ride from home to work and work to home, which is about twice a week. Then on every other day, I just take public transport if I'm going like town or here and there. So the bike is actually really taken care of. I wouldn't say it's
really baby this.
So you owner number what?
Okay, for this bike, I'm the 16th owner.
16th.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Like what you say,
Motor rolling.
So the previous owner was 14. The 15th owner was my friend who because I got the bike before I had my license, so I put it under his care. Then from what I know, it did drop before, so but not under his care. It was just accident. Yeah. So other than that, okay, because it was a minor accident, nothing damaged the engine or anything. No alignment misalignment, just the fairing. Because previously it was using the original fairing. Now it's not
using a reproduction.
Yeah, reproduction fairing.
Okay, how's the performance like?
Okay, the performance, I would say because it's a lot. Because previously 2B, I was riding a 125cc.
I see.
I was riding R125. From that 200cc jump to 400cc, right, you can feel the difference, but in terms of pickup and speed, that's when you learn at the school. So I went to BBDC, so if I'm not wrong, they're using CB400F. And I've ridden a Super 4 outside before. The CB400F and Super 4, the type of pickup and speed that you have is totally different. One is because the school bike is, maybe I don't know how to put it in terms, they have it like power cut or something, like power restrictions or something. This one and Super 4, if you compare it, right, you feel that this is actually faster. And when you feel it's faster, you start to realize that the older bikes, right, they are built with the same capacity, but the engine, the horsepower produced, right, is more.
It's
I don't know.
unrestricted.
Yes, in some way, yes. Yeah, I would just say that it's very powerful. The power is there. And compared to other bikes of this current generation for the 400s,
I think technology,
yes,
even though it helps safety, it dampens the performance of the bike.
Maybe,
yeah, understand.
because
Yeah,
most of the modern bikes today have is fuel injection,
Yeah.
and then they are controlled by ECU.
ECU.
ECU, I see. This doesn't have an ECU.
This has,
Oh, has,
if I'm not wrong, but it's for its bike, the CBR400 ECU.
I
Yeah.
see. Okay, no ABS,
Yeah, no ABS.
no traction control, no modes,
Yeah,
no
no.
sport modes, no
Yeah,
sport mode, no
for
nothing.
speed.
Speed, transmission.
Speed is power.
Yeah. Have you ever gone on the highways of Johor with this bike before?
Yes, I have.
And how does she whack on the highways?
Wow, the pickup fast and the top speed is also fast. This bike has been clear meter before by the previous owner. My friend who was the previous owner, still under me, he brought this bike. He rode it up to Malacca, if I'm not wrong. Yeah.
Oh my god, on this,
Yeah.
Can what? Just that. Yeah.
Yeah.
After you ride,
The thing is the posture is like a bit aggressive.
So it's lowered down more,
It's really lower down. But for myself, I will sit like I'm in the school like that. But I feel that's a very comfortable.
Is it? Oh, it's comfortable for you. It's okay lah.
But then if I were to move my rear to the back of the seat, adopt the racing position, I feel it's really aggressive. A bit straight on the back.
Understood.
Okay, bro. Considering that this bike doesn't have a fuel injection, how is the fuel consumption like? What is the full tank, and how far can it go?
Okay.
I reckon it will be it's a fuel guzzler, I think.
So for this bike, right, and the bikes that are along the line of this CBR, the Hurricane or like Fireblade or this model, whatever letter the model, right. From what I know, all the bikes is 15 or 16. I think 15, if I'm not wrong. 15 liters the tank.
15 liters tank.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I have a friend who's also riding this bike, but the carburetor, the setting, the stock, he's using the stock setting. So on a full tank, he's getting about 340. For mine, I'm running it rich, so it's about 240 on the full tank.
Okay.
So yeah, I would say for this bike, the fuel consumption is
On the high side.
it's because the time I sent to shop, right, I get them to, when they set the carburetor for more high intake, so this one really finishes fast. So this one about 208, 220, something like that. You will start to, then I have to turn on the reserve already. And this
one don't
bike,
have-
you can
oh,
really
okay.
hear the sound change when the petrol is low. So the minute the sound is not as loud as it used to be, it's time to turn on the.
Okay. Considering that this, how do you actually check the fuel?
There's no fuel
gauge.
Yes, there's no fuel meter. So
Like you said, the sound, is it?
yeah, the sound. One more thing is, that time when I first took over the bike, this bike died on the expressway. Because that time I didn't even know there's a reserve. Yeah, so
okay.
My other friend he taught me to reset the trip meter. Then on a full tank, then let the bike die one more time. Then you see what's the mileage. Yeah, then from there I already knew that this bike is taking in about 208 to 220.
I see. Okay.
All to have like all to have that one.
The fuel
indicator.
Fuel indicator.
So that's why I was like, hey, how you want to find?
I mean, you can really tell like those times.
You have a temperature gauge, but you don't have a fuel gauge.
I mean, you can really tell in those days, people are people rely on instinct,
Yeah, maybe lah.
instinct, or you hear the sounds. They don't really rely on electronics that much.
Yep. Maybe maybe what you say is true. There is some wisdom in that, because last time when I was riding in my Vespa fuel gauge also die on me. So I based on my experience and instinct, okay, I think I should have
How much left?
how much left.
Gas station already.
So that I understand that KNT is so versed with this bike. How about yourself? Have you ever been there? Do your maintenance?
No, I haven't. So far for maintenance, right? The battery change, brake pad change for front and back, spark plugs, and the engine oil and coolant change all done at Lian Hub.
I see.
Kaki Bukit. Can go there lah. Can go there lah.
But for yourself, you never been, huh?
To KNT. No, I've never been. But I only been to Lian Hub. Because from my 2B days, I used to go there. Then I just carry on going there.
On your ownership, right? What's the best memory so far you have with this bike?
My best memories are.
Yeah.
My best memories was when I took over the bike in December and I failed my TP 5 times before I had the chance to ride the bike properly.
Oh, okay.
During that 5-month period, right, the bike was under my friend.
Ah,
So
I see.
I bought the bike, it was under my name, then he was the rider.
So
And
you finally get
that
to touch it.
that 5-6 months of waiting was just, it was memorable because every time you fail, you come back, wow, you feel very demoralized. Then you come to the car park, you see the bike, you just feel like trying again.
Then when you actually pass,
When I actually passed, that very night, right, me and my friends, we went out.
Well, you must have waited a long time. Huh?
Yeah, and then considering that last year, because of the COVID-19, right, all the driving schools was closed.
Close, yeah.
For that 2 months,
you can just look.
just looking at it.
Look, take picture, pose it a bit, you know. So Dominic, wing it, a relic of the 90s. Wow, who would you say this bike is for?
This bike is for. Wow.
Anybody who loves this bike lah.
Oh, actually, anyone can ride this bike. Actually,
I see.
it's just a really good bike.
I'm not surprised if people, all the veteran riders who used to ride this bike will be like, wow, this really reminds me of my days, you know, my rompet days.
Yeah, now that you mentioned that, right? If I'm not wrong, right, this bike has also been in many movies also. Like the Andy Lau movie, the Trotter. There's a cutscene where this bike is being shown. Then there's another Hong Kong movie, if I'm not wrong, is A Moment of Romance 2. The picture that's on the poster, right, is a Fireblade in red. Actually, anyone who's sporty enough during that era who's seen those movies, if I'm not wrong, also in the Mud Rampage also have, but it's also in the background. Anyone who picked it up, they saw the bike, they very sure they would have been wanting to ride this bike.
For me, I don't really know much about this bike because I wasn't really eyeing on this other than the RFF 400 but I'm sure for you, Zah,
For me, this was a beauty. This was one of the bikes that actually had me like into motorbikes, you know, with the design by itself, very curvy. You know, I like curvy bikes. So this bike really is a beauty to me lah. Veteran riders, riders who have rode this before, if you have anything else to comment or any experience to share, just put in the comment section below. And if you are riding a classic bike, a legendary bike, feel free to contact us and get this moment of between you and your bike on video.
Yeah, and Dominic, thank you so much for coming out and sharing your bike with us. He actually has another bike lah.
Thank you, it's been a pleasure.
Right after this, we're going to review the other bike. So yeah, any riders want to get in touch with us, do contact us on our social media pages below. And ride safe, stay safe, and we will see you next one.
Apa pula? Habis aku punya tu line, aku punya line.
I forget about Zah's line.
See, I forgot my line already. What is my line?
Screen test 2, take 1. Action!
Okay, like and share this video with Riding Kakis. And don't forget to subscribe.
And we will see you in the next one.